Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony. This is part 2 of our E3 2019 special, and I am joined by Ethan.
Second time's the charm there, Tony.
At least I didn't have to do it a third. So, what's going on, sirs? Have the storms stopped?
I don't hear thunder. The wind's not blowing. Well, it's not bad. It's not as bad as it was. So yeah, I'm good.
So, what you're saying is about the time the show ends, it'll be here.
Give or take.
Okay. It's good to know. I will be prepared for that. So also joining us, Ethan, we have Shannon. He's back.
Yay.
Pour one out for Rossetti, gents.
He lost his job.
Man,
Hard times, the economy, and Animal Crossing.
it's the strongest, deepest, lowest blow we could have got.
Oh, he'll bounce back. He'll have a good job. He just
I
won't be
hope
able
so.
to yell at people for resetting their game.
But that's the best job ever. Could you imagine if you were just the mole who got to yell at people every day?
That would be a fantastic job.
It would be. So, just let all that stress and rage and frustration just pour out of you.
So, what could his possible next job be?
Could it be a janitor? Can we let him? No, I don't think that would do him any justice. I don't know. Let's table that thought for later. Maybe open it as a question to the listeners. Let them make a suggestion. What is the ideal position for Rossetti to fill?
I mean, I'm good at yelling at people skill set. I mean, it could apply to a lot of things, but
He becomes a motivational speaker.
there you go.
Oh,
You have to every Thursday night in the coffee shop, come and listen to Resetti's motivational speeches.
Or he becomes a high school football coach.
There you go. Well, we'll get to Animal Crossing a little bit later. We have a lot of stuff to cover. We have 3 press conferences that we're going to go over today. 2 of them we'll probably go through pretty quickly. One I think will take us quite a bit of time.
Oh man,
So-
it's gonna take forever to cover Ubisoft.
Ubisoft. If you like Tom Clancy, you liked Ubisoft's conference.
If you
Did
didn't
either of
like Tom
you-
Clancy, well,
No.
there's always Ubisoft, I guess.
you just didn't watch UB's press conference.
Ubisoft had a lot of Tom Clancy stuff in there. I think all of their Tom Clancy properties, with the exception of Splinter Cell, even Splinter Cell technically made an appearance, but there's no new Splinter Cell game.
Cut me deep, Ubi.
So, yeah, Ubisoft. They started off the show, though, with Watch Dogs 3, which I think looks really good.
I'm kind of curious how this one's gonna play.
The amount of work that they have to have put into this just for the characters in the game has to have been enormous.
Everyone's a character.
So, did you watch Ubisoft, Shannon, at all? Did you see Watch Dogs?
Nope.
So, the basic idea is that every single person in the game is a playable character, or potentially a playable character.
That sounds pretty cool.
They started off with a typical Watch Dogs type character, a early 20s something guy, running around the city. He goes off and does something. He ends up getting killed, and they immediately switch to the next playable character, who happened to be like a 75-year-old grandmother who was standing close to him. And that alone made me want to play the game, because if you can play this entire game as a 75-year-old grandmother taking down, giant corporations, I want to play that game.
To be fair,
Sounds
she
pretty
was a
good.
retired assassin.
That is true. That is true. It wasn't just your typical granny. She actually had some special forces, background to her. So
The first guy, he was working on finding someone to help them take down drones, and found the guy, but the guy's getting arrested, so he intervened, and
got
it
killed.
ended badly. It switches
Yeah.
to the grandmother so she can locate where he's been transported to, the guy that they're trying to get still. And then from there it switches to another person. She's the infiltrator and gets the kid out, and then suddenly you're the kid.
Yeah. So continuing that Watch Dogs series, I think it looks really really good. Very curious to see. I'm assuming it'll have all the multiplayer stuff.
I don't want them to do like what they did in 2. It was just kind of annoying. You're off doing your own thing, story
And then
progression. Suddenly
people
someone's
just
out
hacking your
gunning you
game.
down, just
Yeah.
randomly.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea, but I want more co-op stuff. I want you to be able to just be like, hey, you know what? Let's get on. Let's do a couple missions and then get out. Um,
I think they've, or I know 2 had it. I don't know if, I think 1 may have had it, but it was like, yeah, 1 had it and you always showed up as like a random civilian where for the other person, but you're always Aiden Pierce in your game.
mhm.
Was his name Aiden Pierce?
Something like that. That sounds
It
right.
sounds about right. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I wouldn't mind playing the co-op with anyone. I've never done that before because I guess I didn't have real internet when the last one came out.
so the one thing that this sort of reminded me of, that sort of persistent character thing, and I know it probably has nothing to do with it, but it brought back to mind Zombie U a little bit
Hmm.
with that permadeath thing where if you died, your character was dead. You hopped into the body of another person, but then you could actually go out and find your character later. I know you're not going to be able to do that because your characters are not going to come back to life in this game, at
Or
least
in
not
my
the way.
case, I couldn't do it on Zombie U because my character exploded.
Yeah, that would make it hard to come back as a zombie.
I'm just glad my backpack was there.
So, but that came to mind. And I know it probably has not. The games have nothing to do with each other aside from the fact they're both made by the same company. Um, Maybe there is some of that though with this. The Watch Dogs will be out March 6th, 2020 for PC, Xbox, and PS4. They showed John Bernthal came out on stage and showed off the next Ghost Recon game, Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Unfortunately, I didn't see anything past Watch Dogs.
Well, after that, it was Tom Clancy, then Tom Clancy, then Tom Clancy. So,
And then Just Dance, and then Tom Clancy's Just Dance.
hey, don't give them any ideas. So yeah, John Bernthal, who is the main character of the game, not John Bernthal himself, but the character he plays the character who's the main character of the game. Came out and showed off the game, and in this you play as a group called the Wolves who want to take out the ghosts. So it sounded to me like these were former ghosts who either have become disillusioned or have just turned evil. I don't know. I couldn't really get a sense of what it was, if you were supposed to be the heroes or the villains of the game.
Hmm.
Um, but that is the next game in the Ghost Recon series, and it has a crossover in some fashion with Terminator.
What's with all the Terminator crossovers?
There's a movie
Yeah.
coming out, and so uh, they're gonna get Terminator everywhere they can. I don't.
Was there a RoboCop game announced? Are we getting a Terminator crossover with that too?
I don't think so.
Dang it. Missed opportunity.
I don't remember a RoboCop game being announced, but if they do, it would be Tom Clancy's RoboCop.
Some might say they dropped it.
Let's see. Then
That's terrible. I'm sorry. I tried. I tried. Terrible.
I couldn't save that one for you there, Shannon. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I was trying to figure out a way to do it, and it just wasn't coming.
Just the
bad.
awkward silence is why I cracked.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint will be out on September 5th. They showed off some new expansions to the Division 2, which will be out later this year. My computer's going a little slowly. Come on.
I would have had the notes up, but they didn't like my computer.
Yeah, this site that I'm using is messed up. So this takes place outside. At least the first episode of this new DLC takes place outside of Washington D.C., where the main game took place inside Washington D.C. That'll be out in July. Episode 2 will be out in the fall, where you have to go back into Washington D.C. and take the Pentagon back from a faction who has overtaken, or taken over the Pentagon. And then episode 3 will come out next year and will take place on Coney Island. And then during this, they also announced that there will be a Division movie.
Huh.
So you got Tom Clancy's The Division the movie coming out. So that means there will be Tom Clancy's The Division the movie the game. Starring Jessica Chastain and Jake Gyllenhaal. Will come out on Netflix, though no word when. So look forward to that. The next thing they showed off was Roller Champions, which I think looks like a lot of fun. This is their
roller derby.
Roller derby basketball type game. So yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. There are 2 hoops around the roller derby arena, and you're playing roller derby while you're trying to score points.
All right.
In fact, I
sounds pretty crazy.
It'll be out sometime later this year. They haven't said exactly when. There is a demo that was available on the PC. I think at this point it is now, actually. It was a very short-term demo. Alpha. It's a pre-alpha demo, so the game's still pretty early in development. But it looks nuts. It looks bizarre. It looks like it could be the next, or Ubisoft wants it to be the next fake sport that becomes a big esport, like a game like Rocket League. But yeah, you need to go watch a trailer for this, Shannon, because it looks so bizarre, but it looks like it could be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Might just be bananas.
I thought it was roller derby.
With bananas.
There may be a banana in the game.
Is the banana named Pedro? Am I getting my games mixed up?
You throw it down on the roller derby track, someone slips on it. I've seen it a million times in Mario Kart, man.
Rainbow Six Quarantine.
Looks like a scary game.
It looks very much like it is a zombie game, sort of.
Three-player tactical player versus enemy co-op game.
Yeah.
Wow, they had to really narrow down that classification there.
Yeah. 3-player fighting legions of infected people. So Zombie U, Rainbow Six, that type of thing. That'll be out early next year. And then here, the next game, because I know, Ethan, you and I had both talked about wanting to see some Splinter Cell in this press conference at some point. And Sam Fisher did show up in a mobile RPG crossover.
It's not the same, man. It's not the same.
Tom Clancy's Elite Squad is a free-to-play mobile RPG that will star characters from every other Tom Clancy game.
But it's not Splinter Cell.
It is not Splinter Cell. You just play as Sam Fisher.
Sam Fisher, or current Sam Fisher?
I never heard him talk, and he looks like he's decked out in the way he was in Splinter Cell Black. God, whatever that one was.
Yeah, so it's not the fun Sam Fisher.
No, they all look like Fortnite characters, so you got that.
That's even worse, man. Let's move on.
Okay.
So I'm watching the trailer for this Roller Champions thing.
Okay.
And it looks like, did any of you guys watch Alita Battle Angel?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, this looks like Motorball, which is a sport straight out of that movie. So it looks really cool.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I am definitely going to check that out when it's available. I don't remember what platforms they said it was coming to, if they even announced platforms, but I hope it comes to Switch.
All I see on this is PC.
Okay. Well, yeah, for now, definitely it is just available for PC. Um, they only talked about that, and the demo was only available for PC. But I would imagine that's going to come to consoles.
Probably.
Ubisoft announced they're getting into the subscription service.
Of course they are.
So Uplay Plus is their new subscription service that right now is just available for PC. $15 a month.
Gonna just label that as the next Origin.
Okay. So
What
if you're,
what does UB Plus get you?
it gets you Ubisoft games.
All the games, or just like how's this work?
They say that you have access to 100+ games, including premium editions with all the DLC and early access to games as they come along.
Is this available on PC only, or is this going to be available on consoles like EA Access is on Xbox One?
It begins in September, and as of now, it is or will be available for PC, and in 2020, Stadia.
Ugh.
Oh, it just gets better and better.
So
Alright.
PC and Stadia, that's what you got for your Uplay. $15 a month. They have a screenshot with a bunch of the titles that are available. It's things like For Honor, Trials Fusion, Beyond Good and Evil, Rainbow Six Vegas, the Assassin's Creed games, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which is not out yet, Rayman Legends, stuff like that. So it's all of Ubisoft's library.
So that's cool, but I still think it's a little pricey. I mean, not like EA has the vast library that Ubisoft has, but
Mhm.
I think EA breaks down to only $5 a month if you buy it as a yearly subscription.
Really?
Yeah, like it's pretty daggum cheap.
And
by
they do put
comparison.
do they put all of their new games in that?
Yeah. It's I don't know if it's new games from the start, or I know you get at least so many hours worth of playtime on the new games when they come out. So like
Mhm.
say do they do FIFA? Does EA do FIFA? Is that
Yes.
a thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so FIFA 19, that one's coming out soon.
Well, FIFA 20 will be out.
FIFA 20. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I get these things. But anyway, so like if you got EA Access and you download the FIFA game, you can play it for maybe 10 hours. I don't know the
Yeah,
specifics.
it sounds like 10.
Look it up.
I think 10 or 6 or up to 16 or something. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like a time limitation, but eventually the game will be free, period, with the
Yeah.
subscription.
And you get access to those games a week before launch of everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Only for 10 to 16 hours for play.
There you go. So now Ubisoft is getting into that with your Uplay on PC, $15 a month. There's some TV show coming out from the Always Sunny in Philadelphia. One of the actors there, Rob McElhaney, has a new game that is a spoof on video game developers. He showed off a clip of that. It didn't look terribly funny, but it could be interesting. Let's see. For Honor had a bunch of, or had some new content. A new trailer for Shadows of the Hitokiri event, which is coming. Okay, which is coming out later this month. Rainbow Six Siege hyped up a big update that just came out. Brawlhalla. It's the free-to-play Smash Brothers game that they have.
Brawlhalla time. Come on, grab your friends.
Brawlhalla got Adventure Time content.
That's cool.
So you can get skins for 3 of the fighters
Jake,
that will
Finn,
let you play as Finn, Jake, and Princess Bubblegum.
Yep.
Cool.
And there's also a new stage based on the treehouse. And then Ubisoft in 2019 is putting out a game
Mm-hmm.
on the Wii.
Mm-hmm. Say that again.
Ubisoft in 2019 is putting out a game on the Wii.
Just
One
Dance is popular.
one more time.
It is. And I understand that game does get used a lot for like rehab centers and places like that. So
It's in nursing homes.
it makes sense. It's just a Wii game coming out in 2019.
It doesn't surprise me
crazy.
at all.
So yeah, it is coming out for Wii, uh, Google Stadia, PS4, Xbox, Switch, maybe PC. I don't know. Do those games come to PC?
Uh,
I think they're even putting it out on the 3DS. I don't know. No, it's not the 3DS.
Just Dance on the 3DS.
That's going to be really weird when I get the press release for Nintendo releases that week and there's a Wii game on it. Like, it blew my mind when I saw this week's press release and there was a Wii U title on there. And it was some shovelware title. I have no idea what it was, but they had to put a section on the press release for Wii U titles.
gosh.
But Just Dance is not coming to the Wii U, so
Don't get your hopes up there. Sorry.
if you own a Wii U, you're not going to be... Well, you could still
It-
play Just Dance. You just have to get the Wii version.
Well, yeah, I mean, if your Wii U is backwards compatible.
That's true.
Wait, did they take out the backwards compatibility later?
No, I don't think they
I
did.
don't
They
think
took
so.
out the
Okay,
Oh, no,
I'm
that
thinking
was-
the
that
Wii
was
with
the
the
GameCube stuff.
yeah, that.
Yeah. There's also only like what 12 million Wii U's out there compared to 100 million plus of Wii's.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
like it
That's
doesn't
true.
it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. These things they'll show up at Walmart with probably a $30 or $40 budget price tag, and people will buy them, and
Yep.
you know
Did
they'll show
it
up in
will-
nursing homes and all
It will
that.
justify a Wii release in 2019.
Right.
was
Right.
Just Dance announced for Stadia?
Yes. It was.
Okay. Had to. I
Oh,
just had to
oh.
make sure.
Oh, and I forgot the best part of Ubisoft's press conference. Sorry, I'm drumming on the table if you can hear
Oh my
that.
gosh. What?
Ubisoft came through at the beginning of their press conference. I forgot to mention this at the very beginning. We had not seen a live musical performance. Ubisoft started off their press conference with a live musical performance.
Okay.
They played some Assassin's Creed music
Oh.
Yeah.
because they're doing a tour with for Assassin's Creed Symphony. So
Well, good on them. You know, it's video game music is a thing, and it's cool, and I'm sure to the people that Assassin's Creed holds a dear place in their heart, they're gonna want to go and experience that. So
I would go see that in a heartbeat. But not only that, not only did we get a live musical performance, Shannon,
Oh.
okay.
What?
we
What
got
else?
a live dance performance.
Yes.
Oh my.
Just Dance 2020 was announced with a live dance performance.
Okay.
It was bizarre.
I can only.
So they're the only ones with both a live dance
Yep.
performance and live music.
That was it. That was it. Square Enix did not come through later in the day, and Nintendo definitely did not. So, Ubisoft press conference of the show. I don't care. No. They ended off their press conference with a new game from one of the Assassin's Creed teams, which is not an Assassin's Creed game. It is called Gods and Monsters, and it looks pretty. Like, it is a very much painted art style type thing. It uses Greek mythology. At least that's what they've shown off so far. I don't know if it goes past that. But they're humans and mythological creatures, and they showed off a teaser trailer, so there's not a lot of information about the game. But there was a girl in Greek armor, and she was fighting a blue griffin.
Yep.
And that was enough for me to be like, yeah, I want to play this game. So comes out February 25th, 2020. We don't really know a lot about it, but it is coming to everything. So
That griffin's got teeth, man.
very sharp, pointy teeth. So and it is coming to PS4, PC, Xbox, Switch, and Stadia. Because Ubisoft is on the Stadia train. Like everything they announce, I think, is coming to Stadia. So
You're coming to Stadia, and you're coming to Stadia.
exactly. Probably won't be part of the Stadia subscription, so you'll have to buy all of these games separately when they come to Stadia, like all of us other console owners. But it will be available on Stadia. So there you go. Anything else from Ubisoft you guys want to talk about?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So following that, Square Enix later in the day, I think it was that evening, had a press conference and they showed off every RPG they've ever made.
Every RPG known to man that you're ever gonna play.
No, they didn't. They started off the conference with the game everybody wanted to see.
Yep.
Robo Trek HD remaster make.
No, they're actually the ones that are developing Tom Clancy's RoboCop. So
Oh my god.
it's an RPG
With Terminator DLC.
starring Claptrap
Gosh.
and Wally.
I would pay for
Not
that.
Wally.
I would pay good money for that.
And then Johnny Five is the final boss.
Claptrap is RoboCop. Oh my gosh.
I'd so play that.
Me too. Oh man.
Stop in the name of the law. I want that game now.
No.
I don't care. I want that game. No, Square Enix showed off the first gameplay trailer that I remember seeing, and it was like 5 minutes of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it looked so good.
Yep. It does look very good.
I'm still not sure that game's ever going to come out, but
They say otherwise.
they do say otherwise. They have a release date, March 3rd, 2020.
Yep.
So you got about 8 months or so. I don't know. I'm just guessing off the top of my head. I have no idea how many months it is till then.
9.
Okay, I was close. March 3rd, 2020, though, and oh my gosh, this game looks so good. Like, there was so much that was recognizable about it, but it looks nothing like Final Fantasy VII as far as actual gameplay goes.
We finally got to see how combat works on this.
It is very much a modern Final Fantasy style combat system.
With a callback to the classic.
Mm-hmm.
Combat works where you can do, I guess, hack and slash through there, but you're not gonna. You can't rely on that because you're gonna eventually cave in and get obliterated, I guess.
Yeah.
So they said 3 little letters everyone was very concerned about hearing. ATB. So that's back.
It is. The active time battle meter is back.
So it builds up and it can stop. It can either be a quick access thing, or it can stop time long enough for you to decide what you want to do. So that's going to be awesome.
So you get that sort of classic menu-based RPG feel through that.
Yeah, so you can just do regular attacks, and that comes up, and you're like, okay, I want to do like magic or a big attack or something now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got your limit break bar too, so that everyone's happy on all sides, right? Right.
And you will bounce around between the different characters in your party, so you will be able to actively switch between which character you're using. So if you're doing something with Cloud, and then you see that Barrett is getting close to getting a limit breaker, filling up his meter, and you want to do something with him, you can switch over to him immediately, or Tifa, Aerith, whoever. Are they going to pronounce her name Aerith or Eris over here? I have no idea.
I would have to go back and watch Advent Children again if they ever said her name, because I forget.
So it's also worth pointing out that this is the first time we've seen the remake version of Tifa.
Mm-hmm.
and boy, did they do some cool details. I watched a frame by frame analysis, and she's got like skulls in the pleats of her skirt, and they did some neat stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, that game looks very good, and I am not gonna play it.
So
I've
they
already
did
got it
also.
pre-ordered.
I do not. I will probably end up playing it at some point.
I only got the small suckers edition.
I'll probably wait till the full game is out.
Thank you, Tony. That I am right there with you because like somebody had asked Yoshihiro Kitase, I think is the dude's name, but like they asked, how many games are going to be in the Final Fantasy VII remake, and he said he can't say yet because Square doesn't even know. He said we don't even know ourselves how many games are going to be involved. So
yeah. So yeah, that is, and it's so weird to me that how I saw so many things that were recognizable, but that does not like you could not tell if you've never played Final Fantasy VII before, the games would look completely different from each other. So and it's crazy to me to think that my first time playing Final Fantasy VII could be very, very different from my kids playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time.
Well, we can solve that real quick by having them all play Final Fantasy VII right now. That's
That's
already
true.
out.
absolutely.
That's true.
But you do
So
make a great point. I just had to interrupt. I'm sorry.
there are going to be a lot of people who are playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time, and their experience playing through the game is just going to be so wildly different from all of us who played it for the first time back in '97. So, but the game does look great. They are doing a really, really good job with that. Um, I'm very, very excited for that game to finally come out.
Back in our day, Jessie from the Avalanche team, we didn't know she was a girl.
You couldn't tell anything like that.
No, you really couldn't. Not with her.
They showed off. Let's see. Anything else about Final Fantasy VII before we move on?
The first game is taking place completely in Midgar.
Yes.
So
We don't know where that first game will end. We don't know anything about that. But they have also said that all of these different releases for Final Fantasy VII, there will be like full games in themselves that when you play them all together would combine to give you the full story.
I think he said like
giving us the Final Fantasy 13 treatment.
I think he said right now it's like the first thing is like 2 Blu-ray disc big, so that's gonna be like
Yeah.
probably gonna be like Red Dead Redemption, where one disc is an install and the other one's your gameplay with an install as well.
Shannon, if lightning shows up in this game, I will find you.
I just say because like they made 3 games to complete the Final Fantasy 13 story.
They made
so,
4
yeah.
games.
They made 4. Oh,
Type 0 is like a super early prequel.
Yeah. Let's see. They showed off some of the new Final Fantasy XIV expansion.
Storm or Shadowbringers.
Shadowbringers.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing there.
This is
Actually, that comes out in like
a couple of weeks.
2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, July 2nd.
Yep.
And those who pre-ordered, they have access to it on the 28th or something like that.
Well, there you go. So, I imagine you'll be playing through this.
Yes, I actually still need to finish the current DLC because I'm on the end or after end game stuff on that. They're introducing the dancer class, and I forget what the other class is called, but if you played Final Fantasy VIII and you know what Squall uses, that gunblade thing, that's the class.
Okay. Speaking of Final Fantasy VIII,
You're welcome for the segue.
they showed off a trailer for Final Fantasy VIII remake. Remaster, sorry. Yeah, not remake. So Final Fantasy VIII will be getting an HD remaster. Will be coming to everything. So
This answered all my questions I had for why they didn't show it off last year when they said 7, 9, 10, 10.2, and 12 are all coming to everything.
to Switch, yeah. You were gonna say something, Shannon?
No, I was just gonna say now you've got 7 through 12 on Nintendo Switch.
Well, with the exception of 11.
Oh well, yeah, true.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
what,
that is that.
I wonder what they're going to do because 11's not console supported anymore, is it?
Yeah.
No,
It'll be an expansion to Final Fantasy 14. They'll bring all of Final Fantasy 11 into Final Fantasy 14.
They. Okay.
So yeah, but that is nice now that we know on Switch you'll have all of those games from 7 through 12, like you said. With now we just need 13.
Riding the the Final Fantasy train even further, we have Crystal Chronicles Remastered.
Like you just completely ignore
I
my wanting of
I
Final
froze
Fantasy
up there for
14.
a second. I was like, nope, it's not worth it. Let's carry on.
Yeah,
Crystal
Final Fantasy Crystal
Chronicles.
Chronicles.
It's coming to Switch and I wait. Is it
PS4, I believe. It
okay?
is coming to Switch,
It's coming to consoles. I don't have the list of which ones. I'm not about to watch this video while doing the show.
and it is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition.
right.
So
Now
console and phone.
I'm going to ask the important question that's on everyone's mind. Will
Multiplayer?
I be able to hook my Game Boy Advance up because I've got my GameCube controller adapter to my Switch?
The answer to that is probably no.
I
It's
really hope I
definitely
can.
no.
Come on. They've got to leave it in there somewhere.
It's no.
You can
Shannon,
you
it's
can
no.
hook a Game Boy. Come on. There's a way to hook a Game Boy Advance up to a Switch. They got to make it happen. Come on.
It'd be a nice bonus, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I really hope it does.
So let's see. What other Final Fantasy games? Oh, there was more Final Fantasy. This was the year of Final Fantasy for
Yes.
Square Enix. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is getting a big update.
War of the Visions.
War of
So
the
that's your
Visions.
Marvel crossover.
I don't think that's right.
Oh. Then I don't know what this is.
It's more Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Let's see. Was that all of the Final Fantasy? I think that was it.
Okay.
My
But then
daughter
everything
was-
that looks Final Fantasy is still out there.
That's true. There is still a bunch that looks like Final Fantasy. We were watching this press conference, and my daughter turned to me and said, "Did they make any new games anymore?" I said, "No, they don't. This is the generation of the remaster."
You're not wrong.
Which I'm not. Which is true. I said it's because all of those people that were, teenagers back in the 95 to 99 era,
They're willing to
are
put up good money to replay their memories again.
30, nearly 40 years old now, have a lot of money to spend, and if you put out a Final Fantasy game, they're going to pay you $100 million to play Final Fantasy. That's probably an exaggeration, but
Oh, we didn't mention on the Final Fantasy VIII, it is just Final Fantasy VIII, and everything on there looks a lot better.
yeah, it does look really nice.
If you get
Sort of a cel-shaded style.
No,
to
it's
the
just
visuals
like
that we
a
like to know.
higher resolution version of the game. Actual models instead of just pixels
Okay.
and stuff, so that's
I'll need to
very
go back and
nice.
really watch that trailer.
Just think back to the side-by-side images I sent you.
Okay, yeah.
It's like they're still in the same area, same pose and everything. It's just the models are definitely updated and look way better.
It's sort of like that thing they did with Yakuza, where you could tell that those in a lot of those cutscenes they were PS2 models that have been up-resed.
Mhm.
So they showed off a trailer for Dragon Quest Builders 2, which will be coming to everything. I think in July.
That's
Or
pretty cool.
June. It does look really nice.
Yeah, we're gonna play the crap out of that one, Tony.
Heck yeah, we are. Heck yeah, we are. More Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, this is a DLC. What was it called? Remind.
It's called Remind.
Yeah, like we're reminding you it came out this year.
Ah,
I don't know. I'm down to pop in Kingdom Hearts 3 and play some more. I don't really want this to add anything to the story though. I don't want them to set up.
Kingdom Hearts
Hey.
4.
Yeah, I do. It'll be
Yeah.
if they do that, it won't be 4. It'll be like 3.2 and 14/17 or something ridiculous.
I have not touched Kingdom Hearts 3 since it made me watch an hour-long cutscene.
What?
Um, I've got better things to do with my time than watch
It's
Kingdom Hearts
really
movies.
good. Oh, Tony,
Like, if that's going to be what they do for that whole game,
they don't.
I
There
don't
are
want
a
to play
lot of
that.
cutscenes. There are a lot of cutscenes, but it's give it another shot.
I may at some point. Because there's some stuff in there that I do want to see, but I don't want to sit through cutscenes like that. I have way better things to do with my time than watch hour-long movies about Kingdom Hearts, unless I want to watch a Kingdom Hearts movie, which might be better. I don't know. I'm gonna get a hateful email from Lang. I know it.
Send your email to Tony Miller at. I forgot your email for a moment, so he has it anyway. He doesn't need me to remind him.
That's true. He does have it. Oninaki. They showed off a trailer for Oninaki.
I still don't know what that is.
There's a game with a sword, and so it's got a person in it.
And it's by Square Enix, so
And it's
there we
by
go.
Square
Got
Enix.
it.
It's an RPG. The Last Remnant Remastered, which is available now. I think
Wasn't
it was
that
that was an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah, that was like the big 360 Square Enix game at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that is now out at least for sure on Switch. I don't know what other systems it's available for. But, there's that Romancing Saga 3 and Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions.
That's coming to Vita.
That is coming to Vita.
Well, Romancing Saga is anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, Scarlet Grace is not. That'll be Switch, PS4, and Steam. Not Xbox, though.
Yeah, whereas Romancing Saga, that's coming to PS4, Vita, Switch, Steam, and Xbox.
Yep.
And App Store and Google Play Store.
Hey.
And is that Microsoft?
And the Microsoft Store.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What is Outriders?
That is a new game from them. They showed off a teaser trailer for that. I didn't get to see that, so I'm not 100% sure about what that game is. I had stepped away.
All he showed was a cinematic, really, so I was unsure if it was supposed to be like a new, not Monster Hunter, but like that game Evolve where you hunt a monster.
Yeah. I don't really know what Outriders is. I missed that part of the press conference and haven't gone back to see what that is. So I cannot give you any information about Outriders.
It looks kind of interesting. It doesn't look like Final Fantasy, so there you go.
And then Square Enix ended their conference with the Avengers. And they showed off a little bit of gameplay of the new Avengers game, which they say is a new story. It does not follow the movies. It does not follow the comics. It is a completely new story for this game.
Mm-hmm. That's why the characters all look different compared to their comics / TV counterparts.
They look like if a bootleg of the movie was being made in China. That's what the characters look like.
Although, like, Captain America's outfit looks like he's wearing multiple flak jackets or something. That's weird.
Yeah.
And the Iron Man thing just looks off. So I'm hoping they fix part of that or something because it just looks a little weird.
The biggest thing about these character models is you can tell they are very heavily inspired by the movies, but they are not the movie characters.
Yeah,
so
I get that,
weird.
but I mean,
and they were asked specifically, "Are you going to fix these models?" Because people did not like them on the internet, and they have said, "No, this is our vision. This is our version of the Avengers. This is not supposed to be the movie characters. These are not supposed to be comic straight characters. This is our interpretation of these characters. This is the characters we wanted to make. We are not changing them."
I'm glad they're standing their ground.
So
I mean, I can get over them looking weird over time, but
yeah,
I mean, still, they just look weird.
the initial
Off in
impression
a
of them
weird
is that
way.
they look like generic Avengers. But I firmly think that once you're playing the game, once you're into it, you're not going to even think about those character
Exactly.
models after a little while.
It's kind of like going from watching Guardians of the Galaxy, then trying to go and play Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy thing.
Yeah.
And it's just, you see Gamora and it's like, why does she have yellow eyeliner or whatever that is?
So in the game, the Avengers, which playable characters that I know they have said are Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, and Black Widow. Hawkeye was very absent from this trailer.
Extremely absent.
Uh, and I think even during the trailer, someone yelled out something like, "Where's Hawkeye?" or something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone did that.
And the Avengers are trying to save New York once again. So it is both a single player and they said there will be multiplayer in the game for up to 4 players, and that the roster of characters will grow over time.
Excellent.
And they did also specifically say there will be no loot boxes or pay to win in any form in the game,
The hero we don't deserve.
which is a weird thing to have to announce about a game, but they did specifically mention that. It will be available on May 15th of next year for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Stadia. And PS4 owners will get beta access and additional benefits that they say that they will reveal in the future.
All hell Stadia.
So Stadia is the future, man.
No.
Stadia is the future. Unless you have data caps, and then it will be your trip to debtor's prison.
It's either your future or your downfall.
Exactly. So
Or your future to a better internet provider.
that may be too. It will force you to change your internet provider because you will absolutely have to have unlimited data if you want to play anything on Stadia for any length of time. So that was Square Enix. Any final thoughts on Square Enix before we move on?
Very distinct lack of Final Fantasy 13.
Yes, there was.
So, worst show ever. No 13. Got it.
No Final Fantasy 13 4 did not happen.
Okay, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Be careful what you say.
I
But
regret nothing until it happens.
I'm sad now that RoboCop RPG is not an actual thing.
See?
It's gonna be my prediction every year from now. I want a RoboCop RPG starring Claptrap. It's gotta happen. Okay, so that was Monday. Tuesday was the conference I was most excited for, and the conference that I think blew everybody away. I'm not gonna lie. I think the overwhelming opinion on the internet after Nintendo's conference was very, very positive. So,
With good reason.
with very good reason. So let's get into it. They started off with Smash. I mean, was there any other way that they were going to start this conference off?
Well, I mean, you say they started
I-
with Smash, and they did, but they. Not exactly.
What do you mean?
Was it Smash or was it Dragon Quest?
That's okay. Good point. Good point. Because they did show 2 Dragon Quest bits of content back to back. Yeah. So the first, or not the first, the next of their 5 DLC characters was officially confirmed as the hero from Dragon Quest.
Which
Tony?
Dragon Quest?
You are a very smart man. You've got your finger on the pulse of this industry. You called that back in like October, November.
Yeah. So
Well
But
done,
which
sir.
which hero from Dragon Quest?
which hero do you want?
Let's just say I've only played one of them on the 3DS, so I don't know anything.
So that would be Dragon Quest 9. He's in there. So
Okay.
you're okay.
Mine was a female though.
Well, yeah, it's a guy, so you'll have to play as a male version of your character from Dragon Quest Nine. So yes, Dragon Quest
Opportunity
Nine Hero.
missed.
Dragon Quest Nine Hero is in there.
Confirmed. DQ9 hero. Got it.
Dragon Quest 11 is coming to the Switch later this year. He's in there. That's who they showed off to start. Was the Dragon Quest
The
11
hero of light.
So they showed off him, and then he did all his fancy stuff. They showed off a bunch of his moves. The magic, or not the magic, but there will be some turn-based aspects to his character as well, because the menu from Dragon Quest popped up, and you can actually choose different things for some of his moves based on, so you can cast magic. There's like a sleep spell, so he turns into Jigglypuff. There were a couple other spells on that list. I don't remember what it said. But then after he did his thing and he showcased all his moves, he got beat up for a little bit by these like weird zombie-looking versions of all of the Smash Brothers characters.
Right, the shadow people.
Yeah. And some other characters showed up to help him, and it was
Lightning.
the Dragon Quest. No, Lightning did not show up, unfortunately. So Lightning has not been confirmed for Smash. You still have to
You've
use
doomed
S if you
yourselves
want
by
Lightning.
making me do this.
Or Pikachu. No, Dragon Quest. So Dragon Quest 11, and then the Dragon Quest 8 Hero was in there as well. So that game is on 3DS. So you can play. And one little thing that a lot of people noticed was that his little hamster pet that he carries around is in his pocket while he's fighting. So that was a neat little touch.
Nice.
The hero from Dragon Quest 3, I think they showed off, as well as part of that group. I'm trying to remember the other one. I want to say Dragon Quest 5, maybe. But those were the four they kind of showed off. But then they did go through, and all of the heroes from 1 through 11, with the exception of, I think, 10, are in the game.
That's very cool.
So if there's a Dragon Quest hero that you want to play as, unless it's from 10, you can play as them. So...
Is this going to be like your color swaps are basically just picking the different hero?
Yes.
Okay, so they've got 4 different heroes total, and you typically have 8 color swaps. So maybe they have female alts.
Well, no, there are 10 games, so all of those characters, I think, were.
Oh,
some of
okay.
the
See,
color
when
swaps,
they
so-
all showed up on the screen, I thought that might have been like the final Smash or something. So
no,
I don't know. I guess
I'm not 100% sure, but it looked like the different, and maybe that is the case. Maybe all of the heroes show up during your final Smash, and you've got those 4 heroes as the playable versions, and then there's female versions of those as well. They didn't show off everything for the character.
Not yet.
So the mystery has deepened.
Yep.
So, then they showed off a trailer
Coming out soon.
Yeah, it'll be. They just said summer, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. So sometime in the summer, but the summer's actually just getting ready to start. Then after they showed off the Dragon Quest hero for Smash, they showed off a trailer for Dragon Quest 11. And that game's coming out. We've talked about that a bunch. I am very, very excited that you will be able to play both the 2D and the 3D versions of that game.
Absolutely.
A very nice addition on there, since we didn't get the 3DS
The
version.
3DS version, yeah. One thing Shannon and I talked about before the show, though, was that the switching back and forth between 3D and 2D is not on the fly.
Bummer.
So you will not just be able to like go into a menu and switch it from 3D to 2D or hit a button and do that. You will actually, when you want to switch, there's a specific place you'll have to go, and then it will take you to the start of the chapter that you're in.
Bummer.
So it does not swap on the fly, unfortunately.
We need a better way of making that happen. Let's hope that gets fixed in an update post-launch.
It probably won't.
Oh.
So, but that game will be out September 27th.
Nice.
Then they showed off Game of the Show.
Nope,
Don't care what anybody says.
you're wrong.
Game of the Show is not Animal Crossing.
Quit lying to the listeners.
It was Luigi's Mansion 3.
Mm-mm.
So we can argue about this all night, Shannon. I'm right.
Okay, you two, battle to the death. Go.
Luigi's Mansion 3, they showed off, and any fears about that game I had completely gone after this presentation. They showed off like a 3-minute long trailer, and that's all I needed to see to know that this game is going to be fantastic.
I do hope we have a little bit more variety on just the generic ghosts that we've seen so far.
The
'Cause
ghosts around the mansion will be. There will be multiple colors. There'll be multiple things they do.
just right now, all we've seen are like different hats on them.
Well, different colors. There's been a couple of different colors.
I think they were all like a pale blue in the trailer.
But the one thing that we do know is that portrait ghosts are back. They're not called portrait ghosts. They're called character ghosts. But every different floor in the game, this game takes place in a hotel. Luigi, Mario, Peach, Toad, all of them are taking a vacation at this hotel that ends up being haunted. The crew gets kidnapped by King Boo while Luigi is sleeping, because that's what Luigi does. And then he has to go through this hotel floor by floor to clear it out and rescue everybody else.
But he's got his ghost dog with him.
He does. Polterpup is like canon Luigi's pet now. Like that's an actual thing now. So
He probably just kept escaping and following him around. So he's like, "Fine, it stays."
just come on, just do it. So every floor of the hotel is a different theme, and they showed off a couple different things, like themes. Like there was a castle theme, there was a jungle theme. There were a couple others from the trailer, and each of those bosses will be very different from the other ones.
Tony, I am amazed at your confidence considering Nintendo's last game in the Mario franchise that was hotel themed.
Well,
Like you are pretty bold with these claims that it's going to be so fantastic.
I have
played Mario's Hotel.
I have more confidence in next level games making a hotel game than Nintendo themselves. Luigi has a new Poltergust called the Poltergust. Oh, what is it?
Oh
It's
man,
the G00, the Poltergust G00, or the Poltergust Goo. So, and it comes with some new abilities. Not only do you have the ability to suck up the ghost like in the past, it's got the flashlight. It also has this like grappling plunger type thing where you shoot out a plunger and it's got a rope attached to the end, and then the vacuum cleaner will attach to that, and you can open up doors and break walls and do things like that.
Can you go ghost fishing with this plunger mechanic?
Not confirmed.
Okay.
Not confirmed. So it may happen. You also have the ability to shoot out this like blast of air. So if you're getting surrounded by ghosts, you can do that, and it will basically blow all the ghosts that are around you back off into the distance, so you have some time to recoup and recover your bearings. And then it's also got the ability to shoot out another blast of air that goes straight down, and it'll let you jump over things. Because apparently Luigi can't jump unless he does this vacuum cleaner jump thing. So, and then
supposedly Luigi in Smash, the Poltergust he uses in that one is supposed to be the one in this game. So that was like a preview. I'm trying to find the image of it at the moment.
I did not know that. And then,
okay, so yeah, there's the Ghost Luigi Smash thing, and it's an image, and it's got the little goo backpack thing going on. So yeah, I'll believe it.
Okay. And then the last ability,
wrong.
The last ability the Poltergust has is the ability to summon Gooigi, which is
Co-op.
it's their way to do co-op. Basically, yes. So you can do single player co-op because when Gooigi comes out, Luigi kind of does this saggy fall asleep type thing, and then you have control of Gooigi, and you can actually switch back and forth between the two of them. Or you can hand a controller over to a second player, and they can control Gooigi. So you can do 2-player co-op that way.
I finally got to see like some science explaining what GUIG is and how that works.
Really?
EGAD was working with ghost slime liquid stuff,
Okay.
and apparently he got scared by a ghost spilling his coffee into it. Then combined it with some of Luigi's DNA, and then made it watch like hours of Luigi doing ghost hunting stuff, and then sent it back in time so he could get some practice, which is how he comes to appear in the 3DS game, or what was it 3DS or Switch? The remake or the re-release of the first game.
It was 3DS.
3DS. So yeah, he appeared in that one, didn't he?
I don't remember. I know Dark Moon had some like weird doppelganger versions of Luigi.
Yeah. Either way, he got sent back in time. That's how he kept appearing. So there we go.
Okay. Interesting.
I think it was a
And then
video from the leaderboard. Just
so not only will you be able to do this 2-player co-op through the story, there is a new mode called Scare Scraper, which will let you play 8-player multiplayer.
ooh.
So, and I'm assuming there will be multiple modes for that. The one they showed off was one where a bunch of toads are hidden around the level, and you have to go out and find the toads, bring them all back, and clear out all the ghosts while you're doing it. So, um, and not only that, the game looks like visually, the game looks really, really nice. So I was very, very excited for Luigi's Mansion 3 before this, but after seeing this trailer and then watching the Treehouse gameplay demonstrations, um, after the direct, I have no worries that Luigi's Mansion 3 is going to be fantastic. Nintendo showed off a couple of minutes of Pokemon Sword and Shield during the direct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not any real new information during that portion of the presentation. But of course, they had just a week earlier shown you 15 minutes of Nintendo Direct about Pokemon. So there was that. Then they showed off The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. You got a little bit new. This game just continues to look better and better.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It will have. It doesn't have the hut where you could go and print pictures. That hut has been changed.
Well, great. Now I'm disappointed. Thanks, Tony.
Sorry. The hut's still there. You just can't go print out Game Boy pictures off your Switch. They're just not compatible. So what they've done is they've changed that and turned it into a place where you can go and create your own dungeons.
That's cool.
So as you
Okay.
play through the game, you'll get dungeon bits and dungeon rooms that you can mix and match and put in any sort of order you want to create your own dungeon that you can then play through.
Cool.
Interesting.
I'm very curious to see how deep that's going to be. If it's just something really simple, if you can share those dungeons with other players. They didn't really talk about how in depth you can go with that. But they did show off a new amiibo, not during the trailer, but later during Treehouse Live. They showed off a Link's Awakening amiibo,
He looks adorable.
is
He
adorable.
does.
So adorable. Um, and then a Dreamers edition of the game, which will come with the game, and then an art book, which I have to have in some way. I love Zelda art books. Um, was this the one that also came with the steel book, or was that a different
That
version of the
was the
game that's
Europe.
coming out?
European.
European version, great, of course.
Yeah, Europe's getting the awesome steelbook that looks like an original Game Boy.
Yep.
So there you go. Both the game and the amiibo will be out on September 20th. So you can look forward to that. They, during this direct, I think when I counted after the direct, they showed off like 40 or 41 games during this thing. It was a lot of information.
35 games.
Is that what it was?
That's the list I have.
Okay. But anyway, they showed off Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order.
Okay, that's cool.
Game will be out July 19th. You are playing as a group of heroes trying to stop Thanos. So,
Sounds legitimately Marvel.
yep. They also announced that there will be an expansion pass with DLC that will include characters from Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Marvel Knights.
I've heard of two of those, but the last one I have not.
I am not sure what Marvel Knights is, but I do know the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Superman's in that group, right?
Oh, gosh.
Or RoboCop. RoboCop, he's in the game. They showed off another trailer for Fire Emblem Three Houses, which will be out July 26th. RoboCop will not be in that game, so you don't have to worry. It's a fantasy game.
Sorry, no, I was laughing because of the predictions for E3, and there's Fire Emblem. Oops, all waifus.
You know, I really don't want to say this, but the more I see of Fire Emblem, the less interested I am in it.
Yep.
Yep.
Like this whole
You are getting that Fire Emblem exhaustion, or whatever they call that now.
it's not that I don't want to play more Fire Emblem, but I am not sure that this whole school thing is vibing with me in any way. Like I will probably end up playing this because Fire Emblem is one of my favorite franchises, but it's not a game that's wowing me like I had thought it would. It's just sort of like, oh yeah, it's Fire Emblem.
Okay, that's fair.
What I really want is another Advance Wars game.
Yeah, Nintendo, make it happen.
Starring RoboCop. Let's put a Fire Emblem.
God.
Let's put the Fire Emblem series. Let's take a break from Fire Emblem after this one. Make an Advance Wars game, and then you can come back to Fire Emblem.
Yes. I support this idea.
Astral Chain. They showed off some more of that, which is the Platinum Games joint.
We have some
that game
understanding of what's happening finally.
Yeah, and that game looks really cool. There's like some weird capturing mechanics going on, and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get like my weird hive sentient crazy monster Pokemon collection. I don't know what's going on, but this game looks really cool. Man.
It will be out in August 30th. So, yeah, the more I see of this game, like when they first showed it off, I was like, yeah, okay, that looks kind of neat. It's a Platinum game, but it looks like every other Platinum game. And now that they've shown off a little bit more, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Like the more I see of this game, the more interested in playing it I get. They showed off some more Daemon X Machina, which will be out on September 13th.
Looks like such a good mech game. Like, just ground combats and just the mechs and the flashing stuff.
I mean, this is definitely one I think you, of all of us, would be most interested in playing.
You are right.
Um,
It's got my attention. Just say the word mech and I'm all over it. But man,
yeah.
it's like high speed mech action, overpowered stuff going on there.
You can fly, you can run,
You can reach the sky,
you can
probably.
customize everything. One game that is currently out now came out on the 13th of June, a couple days after the direct. Cadence of Hyrule: Crypt of the Necrodancer featuring The Legend of Zelda.
Man, I can't believe they did this and they said, "Hey, it's out in 2 days."
Yeah. Well, when when they showed it off earlier in the year, they said it was supposed to come out. I think they had said spring. Um, so I had thought it would be in May, but they pushed it to June. Uh, but it is out now. Features not remax,
Remax.
no, remixes of 25 Zelda songs, and you can play as any of the three characters: Cadence, Link, or Zelda.
Have either of you played this yet?
I have not yet. I have to wait until I get paid.
Okay. How about you, Ethan?
I've never played Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Okay. So I'm
I,
gonna go
I,
off
I don't
and
even own a copy.
it's quite good.
It is.
But I'm gonna sidestep for a moment and say that this is more like a Zelda game than it is like Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Really?
Yes, and it is very good. I have enjoyed the little bit of it I've played so far. It is, imagine if Link to the Past was a rhythm game and also a roguelike where you have like your rupees are currency that disappears when you die, but you also earn diamonds based on clearing screens of enemies. It also, man, I just, the diamonds you use, like every time you die, you can use the diamonds to get equipment or heart containers and stuff that carry with you through, you don't lose them the next time you die. And then the rupees, you always have the motivation to spend them whenever you have them if you're in a shop, because you can't carry them forward. Like, they did a very good job at implementing a story, at putting a villain in the game. There's 4 dungeons from what I come to understand looking at a review. It is a Zelda game more than it is
And
a roguelike.
one thing I thought I heard, and maybe I misheard them, was that it is a roguelike game, and so there's a lot of procedurally generated stuff in it. But I
Mhm.
thought I heard them say that once the dungeons get generated, they lock that shape into place. So every time you go back into the dungeon,
So yes,
everything
every
would be where you think it's going to be.
yes, that is true from my experience. When I see, and I don't know if the dungeons are randomized or not. Like the overworld screens, when you do die and come back, they do change a little bit each time.
Hmm.
But when I was going through a dungeon and I died and I went back in, the first couple of chambers were exactly the same.
Okay.
So the dungeons themselves may be the same. They may not be procedurally generated, but the overworld to some extent is.
The other thing I heard about this game, which I kind of really like too, was that if you're having trouble with the like rhythm game version of it, you can turn that off and just play it as a traditional sort of roguelike dungeon crawler.
Oh.
So I haven't messed with that yet, but I do know that the beat mechanic, like moving on the beat, is only important when there's enemies on screen. So like I haven't adjusted any of the game settings with the music or the timing or any of that stuff to take the beat, moving on the beat mechanic out of the game. But when you are not in combat, it doesn't matter. You can just move squares
Yeah.
however you feel like.
Yeah, I did see that too, but I think this other thing was that if you don't like that part of the game, if you just want to play it as a typical dungeon crawler, you can turn that off, and it's like any other roguelike game where every time you move, the enemies move. So,
Very cool.
and then you just get to listen to the awesome music.
That's cool. That opens it up for more people.
So, then they showed off Dragon Quest Builders 2 during the trailer, or during the direct. Yes, the direct. There will be a demo for Dragon Quest Builders 2. They have said, I had seen this for PS4. I hadn't seen it yet for Switch. But June 27th, a demo for Dragon Quest Builders 2 will be available on Switch.
Yay.
Cool.
And the game will be out July 12th. So we're about a month away from that game coming out. Then one of the games I had heard rumored And I actually went into this direct pretty cold. I ignored most every rumor I had heard about Nintendo stuff, and I think some of it had leaked before the direct happened.
Very little of it actually leaked.
Or if there was a leak, it was a fake leak. So,
Oh, there's always going to be
uh,
the fake ones.
but the one that I had heard a lot of people talking about was The Witcher 3, and a lot of people said there's no way that that game would be playable on Switch, but it is. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition is coming to the Switch. And the best news about this whole thing is that the entire game will be on the cartridge.
Nice.
Cool.
So they are putting it out on a 32 gig cartridge. You will not have to download part of the game, any of the DLC. It will all be available on the cartridge itself.
Very nice.
CD Projekt Red is not handling the port of the game, though. That is being done by Saber Interactive.
Saber Interactive.
They made a little game called Shaq Fu: The Legend Reborn
It's in good hands.
and NBA Playgrounds.
Oh, that's even better.
They also handled Master Chief Collection for
Oh yeah, that's right.
for Microsoft. So it will include both of the story expansions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. So all of that will be on the cartridge. You will not have to worry about having to have extra space on the hard drive aside from the cartridge itself, which more third-party developers should do, please, by the way. Sega is bringing out a new Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. It will be out in November.
What was it 2020 Olympics, Tokyo?
Yep,
Or Japan,
2020
sorry.
Olympics are in Tokyo. And this game will be out in November, about 4 months before the Olympics.
Nice. We'll have
Actually-
plenty of time to figure out if Sonic or Mario wins it.
Is it the Winter Olympics or the Summer Olympics that are coming to Tokyo? It might be the Summer Olympics.
Summer Olympics 2020.
So it's actually quite a ways before the Olympics. In the trailer, I saw Eggman beat Sonic in a race, so you know it's a realistic game.
Let's not get into the science behind that actually happening.
There will be 4 new events that they said are going to be in this game. That is skateboarding, karate, surfing, and sport climbing.
Karate surfing? Heck yeah.
Yes, karate surfing.
Man. First we get the messenger with the surf ninja, now we got karate surfing. Man.
That's good stuff. Square Enix
E3
is
is just going all out.
Square Enix is bringing the Mana Collection, which is actually available now. I think that came out day of, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So that's Game Boy, and then the 2 Super Nintendo games, including the one we didn't get ever.
That's right, Trials of Mana.
And
which was
they announced Trials remake, I believe.
Yes, they're making HD remake of Trials of Mana, which will be out early next year. That is being fully rebuilt from the ground up, they say. So you can play it now on the Mana Collection, and then you'll be able to play the HD remake next year.
Yep.
Konami announced a new game called Contra Rogue Core. So that'll be out in September.
Is Contra supposed to be like a joke game now, or is it supposed to be anti-alien? I don't understand this anymore.
I don't know. They didn't show off a lot of Contra Rogue Core. It was a quick little trailer. But then after that, they announced Contra Collection, which is 10 games. I believe it was 10 games.
I don't know.
Which are available now as well. Let's see.
They announced a game that Shannon probably is excited for that's not Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Which one?
Well, you named your son after the character.
Yep. Yep, we are totally getting a No More Heroes 3. It
Yes.
has been confirmed, and I am super excited to see Travis Touchdown come back for a full on assassin showdown.
It
So,
had like the motion control wrestling moves.
man,
It takes place 10 years after the previous game.
I this we got this when I was expecting them to say No More Heroes 1 and 2 collection on Switch. Like
Hmm.
I was expecting that. I was not expecting a No More Heroes 3. Um, and somebody went and asked Suda51 following this, what are the chances of us getting a collection for the people who didn't play it on the Wii? And he constantly hinting, yes, there's a possibility. Nothing confirmed, but I would buy that again and play through them on Switch and be super pumped about it. So
Hmm.
man, can you believe it? Travis Touchdown coming back.
That's right.
It was a
Game
pretty
that
good bait and switch they did on there too.
Oh yeah,
It's like, oh man, we get to be like some robot suit wearing guy. Nope, it's Travis after that.
Yep.
that's pretty standard.
A game that I am very, very excited for, which I didn't even think would ever. I mean, I had no expectation of this. It is coming from Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
and Bonus XP is doing the development. Mass Entertainment is doing the publishing. The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance Tactics.
Where in the world did this idea come
This
from?
came out of nowhere.
Man,
Like, do you know the Dark Crystal? Have you seen the movie?
yeah,
Nope.
Okay, go watch that movie, Ethan, because it
Nah,
is
I'm good.
great. Um, I love the Dark Crystal, and I am very excited for the TV show, which will be out in the end of August. Which I imagine the game will be around that same period of time, though it has not been confirmed. But this hit me on two fronts: the Dark Crystal getting a game, first of all, which hasn't happened since like the late '80s, um, and it is a tactics game,
it's so cool.
which immediately made me think of you, Shannon. I said, you need to check this
I'm
out.
in.
Because it does look really good. They did a like 20-minute demo of the game on the last day of Treehouse. It was the last thing they showed off, uh, and it looks really good. It is a turn-based like Final Fantasy Tactics strategy game that takes place during the time of the TV show, which is 100 years, I think, before the movie, the events of the movie. So, very, very excited about this one. Let's see. Empire of Sin is a new game from Paradox, which looks like a top-down sort of shooter that takes place in the 1920s. You play as uh, pro,
Mafia.
a Prohibition era gangster in Chicago.
Yes.
Will be out in spring next year. They didn't really show off a lot about that, other than the fact that it looks kind of interesting. Panzer Dragoon remake
Yes.
is being made. So this is a remake of. Have there been multiple Panzer Dragoon games?
There's
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
Okay.
Panzer Dragoon Orta came out on the original Xbox, I think.
Yes, that's a fun game. I still like that one.
I saw some side by sides of this in the original game, and it does look very faithful to that original game, just completely redone visually.
Yeah, it kind of had to be redone visually since we're talking what Sega Saturn if or something like that, right?
I think it
Yeah.
did come out on Sega Saturn. You're right. Man,
Oh man.
No release date for that, but it will be out in the winter. Then Capcom showed off a weird trailer, which got a lot of people confused.
Because it was not Mega Man.
It was not Mega Man. It was Resident Evil, and a lot of people thought that maybe this was going to be Resident Evil 7 coming to, like, physically coming to the Switch. But that's not the case. They had these two people playing Resident Evil in an old abandoned mansion, but then they showed off trailers for Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 coming to the Switch.
Yes, because those totally take place in a old rundown mansion
Um,
and not in Africa or global corporation warehouse places.
So, both of those games will be out in the fall. But no other. They didn't talk about any other not Final Fan. Why do I have Final Fantasy on the brain? Good grief.
It's better than RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop's not in the Resident Evil games either. Um, though a skin for Chris Redfield where you can be RoboCop would be pretty cool.
Gosh, I should have just kept my mouth shut.
Let's make that happen. Um, let's see. Dead by Daylight is coming to the Switch on September 24th. They just showed off a trailer, and these are some other games that they just really talked about very quickly. The Stranger Things 3 game, which will be out the same day as the show. Spyro is coming to the Switch on
The
the
trilogy,
3rd.
yes.
Yeah, the trilogy remake. Just Dance 2020,
New Super Lucky's Tale.
which I think looks really fun. I don't know anything about this game other than you play as a squirrel.
Okay, so Super Lucky's Tale is an Xbox One game,
Yep.
Okay.
and it is a whole lot of fun. It is like I would almost say comparative to Banjo to some
Okay.
extent, because it's like a 3D platformer.
I
With
did
a whole
sort
bunch
of get
collectible.
I did sort of get a rare feel from it.
Yeah.
It might be like what the original Conquer game was before they went bad for a day on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. I've sat down and played quite a bit of the game on Xbox One with Travis. So,
Mhm.
And it looks like it is an IP that will fit in perfectly on the Switch. So
Yeah. A game I'm super excited for, Minecraft Dungeons, is coming to the Switch next spring.
that looks really good.
It does look really good. Like, it is Diablo in Minecraft, and that is enough for me to want to play that.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Ni no Kuni is coming to the
Yes!
Switch
Yes!
September 20th.
Man, what
the
is
first
up with
game.
all these awesome RPGs coming to the Switch?
The Vita's dead, so they have to have some place to put all these RPGs.
So that's a Romancing Saga 3.
That's true. There are some games coming to the Vita. But yeah, Wrath of the White Witch is coming to the Switch on September 20th. Catan, which is a digital version of the board game,
That
June
sounds awesome
June
too.
20th. The Sinking City, which I'm not sure exactly what that game is.
Okay, so it is. It is. Oh crud! What was the Cthulhu game that came out recently? I think just Call of Cthulhu. Sorry.
I think that was right.
It's the Sinking City is another cosmic horror style game based off of the works of, I can't remember that author from early American history who wrote all those
H.P.
crazy
Lovecraft?
gothic horrors. Yes, thank you. It is an H.P. Lovecraft-esque 3D crud horror game.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a very
Just
good
keep
job
it
at
simple.
explaining it. It looks very cool. It's made by the same team that did one of those Sherlock Holmes the
Okay.
Sherlock Holmes 3D adventure games.
Okay, Frogwares is who it has as the developer.
Right, and they did. Oh, I can't remember what that Sherlock Holmes game is.
Yeah, I don't remember. Alien Isolation is coming later
Sherlock
this year.
Holmes, The Devil's Daughter.
Uh,
Anyway, sorry.
so yeah, Alien Isolation, the hit game from PS4 and Xbox One and PC.
Will be available later this year. The sequel to Hollow Knight Silk Song,
Cool.
is coming. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Dauntless, which I'm very excited for. I've put a bunch of time into that already on the PS4.
Tony said two different games there, not one game. Dauntless is different. I had to verify what you said because you said Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Dauntless.
Yes, that okay, yeah, that's true.
I had to clear it up, man.
There's not another Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles game coming, just the only one we've talked about. But Dauntless, which is the Monster Hunter style game from Phoenix Labs, it's published by Epic.
It's
Uh,
it's kind of a free game.
it is a free to
Wolfenstein.
play. It is a free to play game. It's coming to the Switch with full cross save and cross play. So,
Wolfenstein Youngblood
which
and
looks
Doom
really
Eternal
good.
and the Elder
Elder Scrolls
Scrolls
Blades,
Blades.
which aside from being free, I don't know why you would play this when Skyrim is on the Switch, because this looks pretty bad.
Or you can play Skyrim on your Alexa device.
That's true. That's true. But yes, Elder Scrolls Blades is a mobile game, free to play in the Elder Scrolls universe, but it does not look good. So there you go. And then Nintendo ended
Oh,
the direct.
before that, I think we forgot to mention it. Banjo.
What?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's well. I was just
We-
getting ready.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say the other thing.
No, not Animal Crossing.
Spoiler.
Animal Crossing was actually before Banjo.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
So-
well, I've slept since I recorded the direct, man.
Animal Crossing New Horizons. They showed off a bunch of that.
Yes, they did.
Will be out March 20th, 2020. Visually, it looks really, really nice. Like, it is very vibrant, very colorful. Takes place on an island. Tom Nook sells you an island. Says, here, have an island. And then you have to build stuff on it and get villagers to come live on your island. We'll have 8-player play on the Switch.
Yep.
So you could have 8 people in your island now instead of just 4 like you previously could.
We're
One
gonna
thing
wreck
that
it.
does seem to have been confirmed though, which a lot of people are not very happy about, is that there will be 1 island per system. Not 1 island per profile, 1 island per system. So if you have 8 people in your house, 8 different profiles on your system, they're all playing on the same island.
Here's what I am unsure about is if that's going to be per system or per copy of the game. Like, if I buy a digital copy and a physical copy, will I have 2 separate islands?
And will that depend on where you save
Save-
your game data? Like if you save it to the SD card.
Save files are always saved to the system.
Mm,
Save files are always saved to
Oh,
the
dear.
system. So you couldn't buy multiple copies of the game and have different islands.
I can't if you have multiple switches.
That's true. If you do have multiple switches, you could have multiple islands.
May need to go buy another Switch when Animal Crossing comes out. You gotta min-max that bell cap. Yeah. There's, we don't know where the game is going to be broken on money yet, so we'll
That's
find
true.
it.
That's true. I do really hope though that gets switched at some point, and they see that the feedback from players is not very positive on 1 island per system. Because that's going to be. I've seen a lot of people who have said, I have multiple kids who all play this game, and I'm really worried about getting this if they're going to be able to go in and destroy things that the other kids have been building or doing.
Nintendo has a solution to that.
Buy multiple switches.
Exactly.
So, and I know a lot. There may be a lot of parents who are very hesitant to share their system with their kids if the kids can go in and destroy their island. I lost my Animal
around it is
Crossing
don't
account.
let your kids play.
Well, there's that. So,
Solutions
Yeah.
to problems that we shouldn't have.
I think I called this a couple weeks ago where I said if it doesn't come out in September, Animal Crossing will be February or March of next year. and it is March 20th, 2020, the day after my birthday. So you know what I'll be doing.
Yep.
Be going heavily into debt to Tom Nook because that's what happens. But that's not where they ended the direct. They ended the direct with, as we spoiled earlier, the third of the DLC characters for Smash Brothers, Banjo Kazooie. And the way they did this was so good. I loved that trailer reveal for Banjo.
It was
It,
pretty
it was
good.
the best trolliest possible way to do it. Because what they did was they showed you basically the same trailer that they did for K. Rool, only he was there. He was sleeping
He was
in the
inside the
floor
house.
with Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, and there was a big giant commotion outside, and they all rush to the window and are smashed up against the window. And the silhouette comes from out of the sky and lands, and it looks like Banjo and Kazooie, and people went nuts. And then the Duck Hunt dog shows up and is just laughing at you.
I never wanted to have the zapper in hand so badly, just to shoot the
But
screen as much as I could.
so he comes down, he laughs at you, then he moves around the screen like he did in the original NES game and laughs at you some more until a silhouette comes out of the sky again and slams down onto the Duck Hunt dog, and it is actually Banjo and Kazooie this time. So Banjo Kazooie are the third of the 5 DLC characters that have been confirmed for Smash Brothers.
This is so cool.
I was way more excited about the one at the beginning of the show than the one at the end of the show. I'll be honest. I've never played a Banjo Kazooie game, so I don't have that nostalgia for those characters like I do for the Dragon Quest hero. But this was really cool. I'm glad they did this. I had said, if Microsoft, there will be a Microsoft character in Smash, and it will either be Steve or Banjo. So, Banjo Kazooie will be out in the winter, I think they said, or did they say fall?
I don't have it in my notes.
Let me see if the press release here says. Banjo doesn't say. That's weird.
It'll be out when it's out.
It'll be out in either the fall or the winter. So, this fall, Banjo Kazooie will be in the fall. So that means there will probably be a winter character as well.
The one downside to the entire Nintendo Direct conference, there was a severe lack of Keanu Reeves.
There was no Keanu Reeves. So, one thing that was missing from the Ubisoft conference was Beyond Good and Evil.
Yep.
Where's that game?
Back in limbo.
So, I don't know what's going on with that. We shall see. I'm going to go on record now saying, though, that the 5th and final Smash Brothers DLC character, I said this on Twitter the other day, will be Waluigi.
No.
I firmly believe that 5th character will be Waluigi.
Sakurai, if you're listening, don't do it. The moment you give in to those internet schmucks, you just turn the keys over to the fools. Don't give it to the... Don't do it. Don't do it.
They're going to do it.
Do it.
They're going to do it.
Do it.
So there you go. Nintendo, that was the Nintendo conference. I think hands down they had the best presentation of any of the other major presentations that were on during E3. I think they had the biggest sort of diversity of games. It wasn't all Tom Clancy. It wasn't all shooters. It wasn't every RPG that's ever been made by Square Enix, though that was really cool too to see. Do you guys have any other thoughts about Nintendo before we very quickly hit listener feedback?
No.
I'm a little bummed out that Animal Crossing got delayed, but if we've learned anything in previous. If Nintendo's delaying something, there's typically a reason, and the results are good in the end.
Well, and Doug Bowser came out and addressed that specifically. Oh, by the way, the Doug Bowser introduction during the beginning of the direct was perfect. It was so good.
That was pretty good.
Go to YouTube and watch that if you haven't, because it was really, really good. But he did say that part of the reason they're delaying this is because there was no way outside of really, really pushing hard the developers that they would be able to get that game out this year, and they don't want to do that. They want to avoid that super heavy crunch at the end of the development cycle. So they're just going to push it back and let the developers have all the time they need to get the game done. So there you go. But any other thoughts?
Nope.
Real quick. Okay. So our first piece of listener feedback this week comes from Scott via Facebook, and he had asked for pros and cons of the show and any questions that they had. And he said his pros were a lot of cool announcements from different studios. I was happy to see Microsoft show so much coming to Game Pass in the next few months. I want them to announce that for Switch. Nintendo Unlimited Run showed a really lot of neat stuff that I'll probably be getting on the Switch. My interest in the Final Fantasy VII Remake increased slightly with Square's showing Keanu Reeves and the lady talking about Ghostwire Tokyo. Those were his pros. Then he said cons. I firmly agree with this first one. Not nearly enough gameplay with the announcements. Ubisoft continues to lose my interest more and more every year with its conferences. There wasn't any booing during the Bethesda conference. Both Star Wars and the Avengers game looked average at best with all the hype surrounding them. No new Pokemon Snap announcement. Not even a slice of gameplay for Bayonetta 3. Nothing about Microsoft putting their Game Pass on Switch, which was surprising.
Yeah.
His first con there, that statement with not enough gameplay, that's something I noticed very much happening until Square Enix showed off Final Fantasy VII. There was almost no gameplay before that. It was all cinematic trailers. But Square Enix came in and showed you a bunch of Final Fantasy VII, and Nintendo showed off a lot of gameplay during their direct. So there you go. And then the other thing that I was really surprised that we didn't get was anything from this possible partnership between Microsoft and Nintendo. Not a sniff of anything happened.
Nope.
So that really surprised me. I thought for sure there was going to be something about that. Whether it was just more Xbox Live features coming to the Switch, whether they were going to put Game Pass on the Switch with streaming stuff, but Project X Cloud doesn't launch until later in the year, so maybe they're holding off on that until that happens, or maybe it's just never going to happen. I don't know. But we'll see. Chris via Facebook, via Twitter, via Facebook,
Or Facebook, Twitter.
he said Watch Dogs Legion. Blair Witch looked cool. Did you catch them sneak a Bullet Witch in there?
Yeah.
The dog in the game in the Bullet, not the Bullet Witch game. Oh my gosh, I really want to know.
The dog in the Blair Witch game was called Bullet.
The dog in the Blair Witch was named Bullet. So
Bullet Witch, Blair Witch. Yep. Because we knew the dog's name before we knew what the game was.
I actually did not catch that during the Blair Witch thing, which we failed to mention during the last show.
It just kind of slipped through the cracks because it was like, all right, yeah,
and it's
Blair Witch.
Like, is Blair Witch a property that people have been like, I really love a Blair
You had
Witch
asked
game.
me that right after that trailer, and I was like, I guess, or something like that. So I don't know.
It is happening. I thought that was an Alan Wake game when they were showing it off.
I did too.
And then it turned out to be Blair Witch. So, and Lang via Facebook says, "What vaporware game did you want to see show up?" Skull and Bones has been in development for several years now. Showed up at the past two E3s. The only time we really got any information. Now there's nothing whatsoever about the game. So,
I was nothing on Metroid.
I did not expect anything on Metroid since earlier in the year they said basically they restarted the entire development of the game.
True.
So, what I did think we might have seen at E3 was an announcement of Metroid Prime Trilogy, but we didn't even get that. Very surprised that there was nothing about Beyond Good and Evil at the show. And then Square Enix showed off their vaporware game Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is never going to happen, but it's totally going to happen. There's not a lot, though, that I thought, I'm really surprised this didn't show up at the show. I mean, if I went back and thought about it a lot, I probably could figure out something. But nothing that just really stands out. Bayonetta, I guess, yeah, that was a little strange that we haven't seen anything with Bayonetta.
Or Bullet Witch.
Or Bullet Witch. Or what else?
I think that's everything.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of information. So.
We did. We got a ton of information. There's still a lot, I think, still to unpack from announcements at E3. But yeah, the rest of 2019 is going to be good. So I think regardless of what system you're playing on. So, do you guys have any other final thoughts about E3 before we close out the show?
Nope.
All right, so I guess that will be the show for this week. So thank you, Shannon, for being here.
Pleasure as always.
And Ethan, thank you as well.
You're welcome.
If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pgint. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.